How's it going, guys? A couple of years ago, I did a video called 5 Easy Tapping Licks That Sound Hard, and a lot of you guys really liked that video. If you haven't seen it, there is a link to that just up there. Go and check it out. This time, I wanted to bring you some licks that were a little bit more advanced and don't sound like they're from the 80s, that Van Halen style that we've all come to know and love. This time I'm bringing you some stuff that I picked up from people like Andy James and John 5, and I sort of learned them out of impulse, if you like, and I wanted to share them with you because it's something that I'm exploring myself and I've not shown you guys anything quite like what I'm bringing you today, and I think you're going to really love them. Some really crazy, wild, more modern tapping licks, if you like, that I think you're going to really enjoy. To follow along, you need to be in standard tuning, and just before we get going, do me a huge favor, hit the like button and subscribe. You'd be really helping me a lot. Just a quick technical disclaimer before we begin. Throughout this lesson, I'm going to be referring to a technique I jokingly named the Thorny Devil, which is named after the lizard that walks through the desert, which goes 1 foot at a time because it's so hot. That's what our fingers are going to be doing on the fretboard to make sure we're getting really clear note separation for this particular lick that's coming up first, which goes like so. Now, the whole idea of this is you'd build tension with a pattern like this, and it's a really simple pattern to do. What you've got here is basically a power chord with the fretting hand, 10 on the low E and 12 on the A, and then it will be 17 on the A just to get this going for the tapping finger. And what we're doing is we're tapping first, then it goes to the low E, then A12, 17 again, so you should have this. Then we go back down, 12, and then 10 on the low E to finish. We're in the key of D minor mainly for this lesson as well, I'll add. And the main thing to ensure clarity is that as soon as one finger's done, the other releases, thorny deviling being the point. And then what we're going to do to carry this melody on is we're going to move down from 17 down to 15 on the A string, keeping the pattern the same, and then after a couple of repetitions we're going to move down to 13 on the A. Then we're going to change up to something rather fiddly. You've got 10 on low E as before, and 10 on the A with my middle finger, and then 12 on the A there. Then we repeat. Alright, some of you will notice that in the introduction I threw in another little lick that came in between those before we started repetitions. That is going to be lick 2 coming up right now. Lick 2 is inspired by John 5 and goes like so, slowly. This is probably from one of his songs. I learned this from an interview out of impulse, but if anyone knows the song, help people out and leave it in the comments, please. What we've got going on here, we're still in the key of D minor for this lesson, and we're first off hammering on from nowhere on the 10th fret of the low E. Then it's A12, then tapping D14. Then we're moving on to G10, B13, then high E15. Still doing the Thorny Devil when one finger hammers on, the other one releases. Then we repeat the G and B strings, so 10, 13 on the B. Then instead of tapping 15 on the high E, we tap the B instead. So we've got... Okay, then all we have to add left, D string 10 and 12, then G14, then we move that pattern down the string. So it goes A string, 10 and 12, and then D, 14, and slide up to 15. Just to make that clear, I'll play it from the top, slowly. Okay, and that was used as a fill at the beginning of the lesson. that's how it fits with lick 1. Lick 3 is quite simple. All we're doing is coming down a scale, we're just tapping it, and what you've got, slowly, okay, this is the passage you've been waiting for, I think, and it goes like so. Now, what we've got going on here is quite a complex pattern, but once you've nailed it for one shape, the rest should follow, I think. And the hardest one, I think, would be the first one to learn because it's got a couple of unisons in. What we've got is 17 on the high E, pull off to 15, then pull off to 10. And then we hammer on to 15 of the B from nowhere, which is the unison. Next group of notes is 17 and 10 on the high E. We then hammer onto that unison again. So far you should have this. Now the next part isn't too difficult. You've got B17, pull off to 10. Hammer on to 12 on the G from nowhere. Then the next part goes like so. You've got 17 on the G, pull off to 10, and then you've got D, 12 and 10 on the D from nowhere. Duh. Okay, slowly. That's the whole thing. Then you repeat that 3 times. Then we move down to this shape, which is particularly complicated, I think. But you've got 13, 12, and 8 on the high E, and then we skip over to 10 on the G. Watch out. Just to quickly break that down, you've got 13, 12, and 8 on a high E, and then 10 on the G from nowhere. Then that'd be 13 and 8 on the high E, and then 10 again on the G. Then you've got this nice little group of notes here on the G. It goes 14, 9, 10, 14, 9. Then we move over to A, hammer on from nowhere to 12, then pull off to 8 there. Next shape is a little easier on the fingers. You've got on the high E, 10, 8, 5, then 7 on the G. Then goes 10, 5, and 7 on the G. Then the pattern that comes after is really cool. So it's the same as before. You've got 10 on the G, pull off to 5, hammer on to 7, back to 10, then back to 5. Then over to the A, hammer on from nowhere, you've got 8 and 5. There we go, got there in the end. I'll play the whole thing through slowly for you. So that was hard work. That comes from Andy James's Boss GT1000 demo initially. It's in a different key for his video, but I've moved it to D minor to match the licks in this video. Now the last lick of this lesson is a little bit easier on the fingers, and it goes like so. Still sounds equally complicated though. What you've got with this hand is, in essence, the D minor pentatonic scale. But what's going on in terms of patterns, we're tapping the 17th fret only. So it goes. We then go back a string to continue the same pattern. And then for the sake of the video, it actually changes up completely. We then do double taps on the 17th fret. So it goes double tap 17 of the G, pull off to 12, and then pull off to 10. Then hammer onto D12 from nowhere. Then just apply that pattern going down the scale. And then I'd just go. To round that off there. I hope you enjoyed that. There we go. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've liked what you've seen. Please make sure you check out some of the other lessons that you see below. Hit that subscribe button and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye bye.